Channel 4's Cool Schools, every Friday morning during Channel 4 News Today, brought to you by Union University.
On our broadcast tonight, the day after, the crisis goes on, still no deal, as Congress scrambles to get something done and as Wall Street rebounds. Also tonight, your money. A lot of Americans are concerned. How safe is it? Solving a mystery, finding out why one particular illness is up 300% in this country. And War Story, the woman who saved John McCain's life after he was shot down in Vietnam. How she feels about that period and now. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. The day after the financial bailout died, it's still dead. The financial crisis is still there, and now they're talking about another bailout attempt. And after the fourth largest bank in this country failed rather quietly yesterday, there's now a plan to boost that FDIC insurance that covers every depositor above $100,000 on the hope that more people would keep their money in banks if they thought large amounts were safe. We still don't know how any of this would be paid for, but just the prospect of a bailout was enough to rally the market today. We have it all covered again tonight, beginning with NBC's Tom Costello on Capitol Hill. Tom, good evening.
Hi, Brian. In fact, opponents and supporters of a rescue package were again today floating trial balloons, working behind closed doors, working the phones, trying to find something that is palatable to both sides. A day after a train wreck at the intersection of politics and Wall Street, cooler heads seem to prevail. The Dow rebounded, closing up 485, erasing much of Monday's historic drop. The day started with President Bush urging Congress to try again.
I assure our citizens and citizens around the world that this is not the end of the legislative process.
While on Capitol Hill,
we're not going to sit around and point fingers. We're going to get the job done. We're going to get it done this week.
Democrats and Republicans were looking for common ground. The final vote yesterday, 140 Democrats and 65 Republicans voted for the rescue package, while 95 Democrats and 133 Republicans voted against it. Members from the right and the left both voting no. Today, House members were back at home talking about the plan and voter reaction.
I'm not sure, and a lot of smart people in the economic field are not sure that it will work.
If we passed what they were talking about, we would absolutely destroy the economic future of our children and our grandchildren.
I was frankly horrified that this plan failed yesterday.
I was certainly disappointed in the outcome of the vote, given the fact that right after the vote, the stock market went down.
What could break the deadlock? Some say an accounting rule change that would give financial firms more latitude in valuing their assets. Not supported by many accountants, but pushed by Republicans and a former FDIC chairman.
Why are we taking $500 billion of losses in the financial system only because of the accounting rule? This is a manufactured crisis.
Meanwhile, the FDIC today moved to shore up confidence in the banking sector by proposing to raise insurance caps for bank deposits, now at $100,000. Senators McCain and Obama want it lifted to $250,000. But that could mean raising insurance premiums on the banks. Both steps, though, the kind of regulatory move supported by Republicans and some Democrats who voted no. Meanwhile, some Republicans now propose a tax holiday for investors who buy the toxic debt. And there's talk within the Democratic circles of extending unemployment benefits. So there's a lot of talk here. The question is what and what pieces of all of this might make its way into a bill that might make its way onto the floor of the House as early as Thursday. Brian?
Tom Costello, where all the talking is going on tonight. Tom, thanks. And the people who are talking up this bailout say the banking system in this country needs an urgent, massive injection of capital and confidence. It will take both to get banks lending again. If you run a small business, work for one, or know someone who does, that is where this will all likely be felt first. Our story tonight from NBC's Mark Potter.
At a dry cleaner in Sacramento, a restaurant in Washington, D.C., a bakery in New York, and a hat store in San Diego, the economic downturn and credit crunch are hitting home.
I wouldn't be telling you the truth if I didn't say that I'm concerned.
Suzanne McDowell is very concerned. She runs a small marketing firm in Miami. After two big customers didn't pay their bills, she asked her bank for a credit card to make ends meet and was told no as the banks tighten up.
I'm upset, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm a person, I work really, really hard. My staff runs hard. It's not fair for us.
The National Small Business Association says 67% of small business owners surveyed a month ago are feeling the credit crisis.
What they're facing is having to let people go. They're even potentially facing having to close their business.
At car lots in Fort Lauderdale, the credit crunch is on full display.
The banks are looking for every excuse to say no, even to good customers with good credit.
Many potential buyers can no longer get loans. And many small business owners are putting future plans on hold. With no credit, they don't have money to expand, add inventory, or hire more workers. Mario Cipriano owns a computer service business in Elyria, Ohio. He has space for 3 more technicians, but the bank won't loan him money to hire them.
I am ready to employ, but I cannot get capital to employ people.
Many now facing fundamental changes in the way they do business. Mark Potter, NBC News, Miami.
And on the campaign trail, this bailout was once again the main topic of discussion. With 35 days to go now in this race, both candidates are in agreement they're for the bailout, though you wouldn't know that by looking at all their television ads. All this as the vice presidential candidates prepare for their debate just 2 days from now. Our report from NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Today, Barack Obama and John McCain engaged in the bailout debate, calling the president, endorsing the proposal for more federal insurance on bank deposits, and urging Congress to pass a rescue plan.
Step up to the plate. Do what's right for this country.
I'm committed to doing whatever is necessary in a bipartisan fashion, and there'll be plenty of time to point the finger of blame.
But even while calling for bipartisanship, both sides produced new attack ads.
Instead of prosperity trickling down, pain has trickled up.
The Republican National Committee even condemned the White House bailout plan.
Wall Street squanders our money, and Washington is forced to bail them out with, you guessed it, our money.
And the Republicans tied Obama to the bailout, even though both candidates endorsed it.
Under Barack Obama's plan, the government would spend $1 trillion more, even after the bailout.
McCain told Kelly O'Donnell the government already has broad powers to buy mortgages.
The Treasury has the ability to use $1 trillion to start without congressional authority.
Experts disputed some of his numbers, while Obama suggested McCain has been grandstanding in an interview with Lee Cowan.
What we didn't see is the kind of focus on just getting the job done that was necessary.
Meanwhile, the vice presidential candidates prepared for their big showdown this week's debate, with the newcomer Sarah Palin, after reportedly not doing well in practices, retreating to McCain's Sedona compound to work with his top aides. After doing very few interviews and getting some poor reviews, like this answer on the bailout.
But ultimately, what the bailout does is help those who are concerned about the health care reform that is needed to help shore up our economy, helping the... It's got to be all about job creation, too.
Joe Biden has his own challenges, a series of goofs, and a well-deserved reputation for talking too much, leaving both campaigns very nervous about the high-stakes debate. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
We've been reporting for the past few weeks here on gasoline shortages in parts of this country, especially in the South. If you lived through the 70s, then you remember it's a scary sight. Cars lined up at the pumps, signs that read no gas, and a lot of people these days are outraged by it. Some of the shortages can be traced to Hurricanes Gustav and Ike, which hurt the oil supply that feeds the region. But as our own Michelle Kosinski reports from Atlanta tonight, this problem was also a long time coming.
In the gas lines still snaking through the Southeast. People understand there's a problem.
I'm trying to just get a little bit of gas and go back to work.
What's harder to grasp is why it's still a problem. Here, 7 days no gas, and this is weeks after the shortage started. But analysts say problems really began with Hurricane Katrina, damage that the refineries never fully recovered from. Then more recently, high gas prices caused Americans to drive less, so refineries produced less.
The refineries had no incentive to be making or storing gasoline, so they didn't. And that's why we find ourselves in the predicament that we are.
U.S. refiners have had, on average, 207 million barrels of gasoline in storage. But just before Hurricane Ike, only 184 million barrels. And now down to 179, the lowest supply on record. The oil industry, though, says the problem is complex.
It takes some time then to ramp up the refineries or even move the product then through the pipeline.
Virtually all of the gasoline in the South has to be piped in from the Gulf, crawling through those pipelines at less than 5 miles an hour. And while the Northeast has several regional refineries, the Southeast, only one. Gas supplier Tex Pitfield sees this as a wake-up call.
Really, these hurricanes were slight in comparison to some of the other ones, and it's brought us to our knees. So at what point in time is government and everybody else going to realize we need to look at alternative forms?
In the gas-hungry metro areas, panic buying has only made things worse.
Every day we're going to get a little bit more product, and people just need to be patient.
A tall order, maybe, after 2 weeks of plastic bags at the pumps. Michelle Kosinski, NBC News, Atlanta.
Overseas today, utter panic caused by word of a bomb that has left at least 168 people dead in western India. They were pilgrims gathered in worship at a Hindu temple. This bomb rumor spread quickly, set off chaos and then a human stampede. People crushing each other in a panicked effort to escape. India has been the target of deadly bomb attacks in recent months, but the rumor that led to so many deaths there today, in this case, was false. When our broadcast continues here this Tuesday night, doctors and scientists chasing down the question of why some kids live allergy-free while others suffer so much. And later, the people who were there the day a future presidential candidate was shot down.
Why do travel companies love to advertise in the blue envelope? Because they know it's a great way to help their businesses take off. From savings on sushi or steak, to discounts on dresses, to great deals on groceries. There's something in it for you. Valpak and Valpak.com. To advertise, call 1-800-4VALPAK. Dry cleaners and laundry services know the best way to get more business is to call 1-800-4VALPAK. Call today to learn how Valpak can help your business clean up too.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. All internet providers take you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? Net Zero is only $9.95 a month, and we give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
Burning, itching. I should have used Preparation H.
And for extra relief, use Preparation H medicated wipes first. Unlike most ordinary wipes, they relieve while you clean. Then use maximum strength cream. Preparation H, the relief expert.
Mom knew I needed calcium from day one. Today, 80% of us don't get enough from food. Our bodies can steal it from our bones. Replenish your body daily with TLC, Tender Loving Caltrate, and give TLC to somebody you love.
Constipation, bloating, gas, diarrhea. People, is your colon sending you a message? Now there's new Philips Colon Health with probiotics. It helps naturally restore the balance in your digestive system, so you can avoid those very unpleasant symptoms with new Philips Colon Health.
Walt Disney's Sleeping Beauty. New on Platinum Edition DVD and Blu-ray October 7th.
Thursday, Joe Biden, Sarah Palin, the vice presidential debate. For the first time, both running mates face off. Join Brian Williams live from St. Louis. The vice presidential debate. Thursday at 9 Eastern on NBC.
After the bailout crumbles,
it just gets worse the more you look at it.
Keith checks the political backlash. Who takes the blame? Countdown with Keith Olbermann tonight only on MSNBC.
We're back now with our health series and our special series of reports called Allergies Clearing the Air. More than 17 million adults, about 6 million kids in this country suffer from allergies, some of them severely. As to why some suffer and others don't, it's always been something of a lottery, a mystery. Who gets allergies and who doesn't has always been a mystery. But our chief science correspondent Robert Bazell reports tonight on hunting down these clues.
Chris, you want to get the skid steer loader? Teenagers Chris and Blake Duffy are growing up on Great Brook Farm in Carlisle, Massachusetts. They work outside all the time and seem to be doing great because of it. But unlike many, the brothers don't suffer the runny noses, hives, or the more serious asthma of the lungs, all allergic reactions. What do you say, Blake? That are becoming increasingly common in this country.
It seems like allergies are now the norm. If you look at most children, by the time they're grown up, most children would have developed some form of allergic disease or another.
Why don't you show us what your peak fills are so we can see how well your lungs are working today?
From 1980 to 2004, the number of people with asthma alone in the U.S. increased by more than 300%.
Our immune system has to learn what it needs to protect us from. It has to also learn what is safe, what it doesn't need to worry about, what it shouldn't be attacking. And somehow in allergic diseases, the immune system seems to have gone astray.
You've got India here, you've got Barnes in the United States. In his lab at National Jewish Hospital in Denver, Dr. Andy Liu studies samples of dust and dirt he's collected from rural and urban environments. His conclusions explain why the Duffys are allergy-free. Many studies around the world have shown that children raised on farms around large animals have far less asthma and other allergies than children raised in cities. It is not just the U.S. In India, China, and many other countries, children develop more allergies as they move to urban environments. Why? The major theory is that exposure to harmless bacteria from the animals early in life desensitizes kids, so they don't react so strongly to the dust, mold, and pollen later in life.
How much endotoxin is in them.
And the hope is that eventually this knowledge will lead to better treatment for the millions of children with allergies. Robert Bazell, NBC News, Carlisle, Massachusetts.
When we come back here tonight, the question so many Americans are asking these days about their money.
When my doctor told me I had to lower my cholesterol, I was shocked. I worried about the foods I'd have to eat. But you do what you have to.
My wife insists I eat whole grain oats to help lower my cholesterol. I made the commitment for her.
I was told eating certain foods can help lower my cholesterol. I guess it's a sacrifice I have to make.
Honey Nut Cheerio cereal tastes great and can help lower cholesterol.
No one said it would be easy. Be happy, be healthy.
We've heard a lot of talk about change this year. The question is, change to what? To me, change is a government that doesn't let banks and oil companies rip off the American people. Change is when we finally fix healthcare instead of just talking about it. Change is giving tax breaks to middle-class families instead of companies that send jobs overseas. Change is a president who brings people together. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message because this year, change has to be more than a slogan.
When it comes to quitting smoking, are you a tortoise or a hare? If you're a tenacious tortoise determined to quit, take the first step. See your doctor and ask if prescription Chantix is right for you. The Chantix approach is a pill with a program. And take note, it's a non-nicotine pill. It helps keep nicotine from reaching key receptors in the brain. It can effectively reduce that urge to smoke. And because slip-ups happen, you can't have too much support. So include your doctor, friends and family, and consider Get Quit, a support plan for Chantix users. If you notice agitation, depressed mood, or changes in behavior that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away. Some patients have had these symptoms while taking or after stopping Chantix. Talk to your doctor about any history of depression or other mental health problems which may worsen while taking Chantix. Tell your doctor which medicines you're taking, as they may work differently when you quit smoking. Chantix dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. The most common side effect is nausea. Patients also reported trouble sleeping and vivid, unusual or strange dreams. Until you know how Chantix may affect you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. The quitting road isn't for sprinters, but stay with it. Studies show 44% were able to quit at the end of 12 weeks. So talk to your doctor about the benefits of quitting smoking and ask if Chantix is right for you.
Tomorrow, your 401k. What should you do now? Expert advice for you and your money. Tomorrow on Today on NBC.
The war against breast cancer. NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
Back now with more of our coverage of this economic crisis and the fear you hear being voiced across this country by folks with just a little money and folks with a whole lot of money. Could it really go away? How safe is it? CNBC's Erin Burnett is with us tonight to help take on some of these questions. Welcome.
Welcome, Brian. It's good to be here. And the reality of it is, little money, a lot of money. Everyone's asking the question of whether your money is safe. It's a huge question. There is not a simple answer, and it really depends on your set of circumstances. We're all different, and what we've already done with our money.
Is my money safe? That depends on where it is. Accounts at banks and savings and loans are currently insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, up to $100,000. That means your total savings, checking, and CDs at an FDIC-insured bank are protected up to $100,000 if that bank fails. If you have multiple joint accounts, that coverage increases to $200,000. Certain retirement accounts are also covered up to $250,000. In response to investor anxiety after the failure of Lehman Brothers, the Treasury Department stepped in to ensure money market funds invested in non-FDIC accounts. But right now, that insurance only covers investments made before September 20th, 2008, and only with companies who pay to participate. What if I'm in stocks? Of course, nothing can insure you against losses in the stock market, but with time, you may recover. The Dow is already down more than 23% from its October 2007 high. That's a problem if you're in or nearing retirement. However, during the bear market that came with the last real estate crisis, the Dow declined 21% before its low in October 1990. And though history is no guide, that time it only took 6 months to recover. Economists suggest the country could be facing a more prolonged downturn this time around. So how can I protect myself in a tough economy? The advice remains what it's always been. First, pay down debt. The average American carries nearly $10,000 on credit cards. Paying that off won't just save you interest. It will put you in a better position to borrow if you need to, now that credit standards are tightening. Also, put aside a couple months' salary in a savings account in case you lose your job or face another financial crisis. And if you can, max out on the employer contributions to your 401k.
All right, a lot of people no doubt have questions, so if you want more information, particularly on the FDIC, where I know Brian's blog has gotten a lot of questions as well, go to nightly.msnbc.com and you'll be able to get answers there.
And while all the advice is against it, you can't blame folks for wanting to have control over their money, take it home, they earned it, they want to keep it safe.
For the first time, I think for many people, they're realizing that vulnerability, that feeling of what if it went away. And hopefully that'll make the whole country stronger and we realize how lucky it is that we have these rules and these strong institutions and a government that can actually step in at the right time and make a difference. So the urge to control it is human, but luckily we live in a society where right now that is not a problem. Keep it in the bank.
Perhaps a good point to end on. Erin Burnett, always a pleasure. Thanks. And we're back in a moment with a woman who played a role in history by saving and then shaping the life of John McCain.
Every day, people with type 2 diabetes are doing more to find a healthy balance with diet, exercise, and the once daily pill, Januvia. Januvia is different and works in 2 ways. It helps your body increase the insulin made in your pancreas and decrease sugar made in your liver to lower blood sugar. Plus, Januvia is not likely to cause weight gain. Januvia should not be used in patients with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis and has not been studied with insulin. Your doctor may perform blood tests periodically to check your kidneys. If you have kidney problems, a lower dose may be prescribed. Tell your doctor right away and stop taking Januvia if you have an allergic reaction that causes swelling of the face, face, mouth, or throat, or affects your breathing or causes rash or hives. Side effects may include upper respiratory infection, stuffy or runny nose, and sore throat and headache. Using Januvia and a sulfonylurea together may cause low blood sugar. To reduce this risk, your doctor may prescribe a lower dose of the sulfonylurea. So talk to your doctor about a different way. Januvia.
Where do Americans get 2/3 of the oil and natural gas we rely on? North America. Surprised? Learn more. Visit energytomorrow.org.
I have COPD, which makes it hard to breathe. But now that I'm breathing better with Advair,
I can spend a day with my favorite little camper.
For people with COPD, including chronic bronchitis, emphysema, or both, great news. Advair helps significantly improve lung function. While nothing can reverse COPD, Advair is different from other medications because it's the only product with an anti-inflammatory and a long-acting bronchodilator working together to help you breathe better. Advair won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms and should not be used more than twice a day. People with COPD taking Advair may have a higher chance of pneumonia. Advair may increase your risk of osteoporosis and some eye problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking Advair.
I love coming here, Grandma.
Me too. Ask your doctor how Advair helps improve lung function for better breathing.
Find out how to get your first full prescription free at advaircopd.com.
Do you own an oil company? Well, if you have mutual funds or a pension or other investments, chances are you do. Learn more. Visit energytomorrow.org.
It's the coolest thing on TV, and you won't want to miss a minute. Every Friday morning, Channel 4's Cool Schools checks out the area schools. See what's hot, who rocks, and why each school is cool. Channel 4's Cool Schools, every Friday morning during Channel 4 News Today, brought to you by Union University.
We continue from time to time this election season to look at the lives of the two presidential candidates, from the school Barack Obama attended during his formative years to tonight's story about a formative experience in John McCain's life when, as a young naval aviator, he found himself shot down and taken captive. The story tonight from NBC's Ian Williams.
The calm beside Hanoi's West Lake is only broken by the commotion of fishermen. A misspelled memorial, the only reminder of what happened here 41 years ago.
So it was just down here?
When Levan Loire helped drag ashore a badly injured John McCain after his Skyhawk bomber was shot down and he parachuted into these shallow waters.
Everyone was excited because we got the pilot. Some people were shouting, "Beat him!"
But Nguyen Thi Tan, now 81, took control. A nurse at a nearby clinic, she put splints on McCain's broken arms and leg and gave him antibiotics. In his memoir, McCain says she saved his life.
Most people didn't say anything, but one old man with a stick said, "You're saving the enemy." I told him I was a nurse. I had to save lives.
McCain spent 6 weeks in a Vietnamese hospital, and then nearly 5.5 years in prison, 2 of them in Hao Lo, the infamous Hanoi Hilton. McCain has given graphic accounts of beatings and torture in a prison system he's called an extension of the battlefield. Tran Trong Doyet, the former prison director, remembers it differently.
During office hours, I would call him to my office and we would have fierce debates about the war. But after hours, we would talk as friends.
He says McCain helped teach him English, giving impromptu tests. What remains of the Hanoi Hilton has been turned into a museum, with plenty of space devoted to their most famous prisoner. This wreckage of a B-52, one of many reminders here of what they call the American War. But most Vietnamese have now moved on, as has John McCain. He's visited Vietnam several times since the war and is now remembered most for helping normalize relations. But the possibility of a McCain presidency hasn't heightened curiosity about his story. In this overwhelmingly young country, the memory of the war is fading, like the ancient facade of the Hilton. Ian Williams, NBC News, Hanoi.
And that's our broadcast for this Tuesday evening. Thank you for being with us. I'm Brian Williams. We hope to see you back tomorrow night for the Wednesday edition. Good night.
Working for you in high definition, this is Channel 4 News.
Local governments will be affected by any turmoil in capital markets.
Tonight, Nashville learns what it means when they say from Wall Street to Main Street. Good evening again, everyone. Tonight, some of Nashville's major improvement projects are in a state of limbo. The projects range from community centers to sidewalks, and your neighborhood might feel the effects. Channel 4's Ann Marshall is live along the riverfront to explain. Ann?
Well, Mayor Dean says he is committed to capital improvement projects like ones planned for here along the riverfront and school buildings. But the capital spending plan that approves a lot of those desired projects is on hold thanks to turbulent financial markets.
Every year, Nashville comes up with a wish list, making over roughed up buildings, adding needed classrooms, tending to where the sidewalks end, and starting on significant riverfront development. But this year's wishes are up in the air. This past week's reality put them there.